Oh. I got it. Last one. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, Judge.
Enos Bohannon.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor. And for the record, Christina Smith for the Public Defender's Office.
Tressie Tyner for the state of Florida.
Alrighty, thank you. Mr. Bohannon, you are here because you're arrested on a warrant that has no bond. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. Melissa Dre.
And you're finding probable cause, Your Honor?
It was a warrant.
Just keeping the record clean.
VOP.
Yes, Your Honor. Just
Melissa Dre.
she is present and approaching, Your Honor.
All right. Good morning, Ms. Dre. You were arrested on a charge of possession of drug paraphernalia and possession of methamphetamine. I have read the charging affidavit. You find sufficient probable cause. The bond set amount of $2,500 on the possession of methamphetamine, $500 on the possession of drug paraphernalia, and 1 point of public defender to represent you. Juan Fernandez.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor. And for the court's information, he does qualify for direct PTR.
Okay. All right, Mr. Fernandez, you're arrested on a charge of operating a motor vehicle on the streets and highways of Orange County, Florida, while at the time you were under the influence of an alcoholic beverage, chemical substance, or controlled substance. To the extent that your normal faculties were impaired, I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. I can set a monetary bond of $500, or you do qualify for a pretrial release if you want to do that. There would be conditions on that, but you don't have to post a monetary bond.
Your Honor, he would like non-monetary with PTR.
All right, we'll do PTR and with all PTR conditions, and I'll appoint a public defender to represent you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Joshua Gonzalez.
Christina Smith for the Public Defender's Office. I did speak to Mr. Gonzalez. He does qualify for the public defender. He understands that all of his warrants will be stayed and probable cause will be found. He is asked to have his appearance waived.
All righty, we'll do so. We'll stay all the bonds, appoint a public defender, and it looks like, what do we have, three cases?
Yes, Judge.
Let's see, which one is he out on? He's also out on bond on, has that been filed on? 2020?
It has not, Your Honor.
All right,
23 CF 1215.
I'll take no action.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Kevin Gumbrell, excuse me.
He is present and approaching, Your Honor.
Mr. Gumbrell, you were arrested on a warrant out of Osceola County. There's no bond on that, and I'll appoint a public defender if you didn't have a lawyer on that case before.
Your Honor, he is entitled to bond on these charges with conditions set for each.
I don't have a charging affidavit. Hang on a second. All right, Mr. Gumbrell, do you have another place to live other than 2819 Latter-day Court?
He can find somewhere, Your Honor, but he will require a one-time return with law enforcement.
All right. And that's where Maria is living?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, as to count one, domestic battery by strangulation, set bond in the amount of $750. Count two, aggravated battery, $750, and the false imprisonment, $750. You're to have no contact with Marie Gumbrell, Gumbrell. You're not to return to 2819 Latter-day Court to maintain a separate residence from her. You can return to that address one time with law enforcement to pick up any personal items you may need. That's personal items. That doesn't mean televisions or furniture or anything like that. You're not to possess any guns, weapons, drugs, or alcohol. And I'll appoint a public defender to represent you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep. Leopoldo Ibarra Aladeo.
Your Honor, he has applied for a public defender. He does qualify. I did speak to him about the charges. He understands that PC will be found and his bonds will be stayed. He has asked to waive his appearance.
All right, we'll step on, state the bond at $500 and appoint a public defender to represent him. Jacqueline Kutner?
Ms. Catani, yes, Your Honor.
Not even close. All right.
This is the same. She does qualify for the public defender. She understands PC will be found and her bond will be stayed. She has asked for her appearance to be waived.
All right, we'll appoint a public defender to represent her and stay the bond at $150. Stephanie Lampo?
This is also the same, Your Honor. She does qualify for a public defender. She understands that PC will be found and her bond will be stayed. She has asked for her appearance to be waived.
All right, we'll appoint a public defender to represent her and stay the bonds. Joseph Minetti?
He is present and approaching, Your Honor. And for the court's information, PTR did speak to the alleged victim, and she does request no hostile contact. She did say that she was not going to be able to come this morning because they have 3 very small children, and she wouldn't be able to get there with all of them.
Okay. All right. As to the battery count, I'll set bond the amount of $500. As to the hindering, I'll stay that at $500. Actually, reduce it to $500. It looks like I had it at $1,500. All right, you're not to have any hostile contact with Brittany Adams, okay? That means you can't raise your voice, can't throw anything around the house, can't act hostile in any way. You understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. I'll let you go back there to your home with her as long as you don't do that. All right, you're not to possess any guns or weapons, any drugs or alcohol. Is DCF involved? I know there's kids.
It does look like per the affidavit that DCF was called.
All right, then additional condition will be that you follow any kind of plan or order that DCF puts in place dealing with your children, okay? And appoint a public defender to represent you.
So just how much was the bond?
500 and reduce the second one to 500.
So just, and Lamppost was waived, she waived it, right?
Yes, yep. And Ludica Lozano Perez?
Yes, Your Honor. Though this would be eligible for bond, she has applied for a public defender. She does qualify. She understands that by not appearing, PC will be found and that her bond will be stayed. She has asked for her appearance to be waived.
All righty, I'll appoint a public defender and stay the bond.
Thank you, Your Honor. That's all we have here in Osceola.
All righty, thank you.
See you tomorrow.
Take care. Maybe, unless there's this number again, I'll just walk right back out. I'm just telling you.
Attorney,
I need this big number on.
1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. What's the charge?
Is this the attorney case, King?
This is
Whatever you want, yeah, whatever you want to do. Okay. Still state any.
Just talking to Jewett. I don't have any objection. I don't know. He's in on it's since the KBS, he might not agree to changing it since we can't do that, but.
So this is 22 is Harris, right? Judge Harris. Now there's a new case that says that IA judge can't revoke bonds. But we're taking it to mean that as long as they all give permission. She wouldn't give it's crazy. I think that she's given permission now. She was the one who killed me on that Monday, so I don't care. Okay. He
Spanish. That's the one Spanish?
All right.
Good morning, Your Honor. This is Rafael Barrera, State Certified Court Interpreter, and I have been previously sworn.
Good morning again. Defendant is approaching the podium and we'll have on the headset soon.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to go ahead and sound check once he puts those on.
All right, he is wearing the headset.
Your Honor, the interpreter can confirm this defendant is able to hear through the headsets.
All right, your name, sir?
Jesus Lopez.
Jesus Lopez.
All right, Mr. Lopez, you're here because you're arrested on a warrant for 2 charges, trafficking fentanyl 14 grams or more, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Bond is set at the amount of $200,000 on count 1, $500 on count 2. Did you want to have and if you do bond out, you're not to possess any drugs, weapons, or alcohol. Would you like an attorney appointed?
Sí.
Yes.
All right, I'll appoint a public defender to represent you.
Yo tengo el mío también.
Well, I also have one.
What's that? Did you already hire an attorney?
Sí, yo tengo uno.
Yes, I have one.
Okay, well then I won't appoint a public defender. Then you can just have the attorney you hired. Okay, thank you. That was 2023 CF 7388AO.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All righty, take care. You're all set.
Señor, es mejor que no hables porque todo está grabado y lo pueden usar contra usted.
La fianza bajada.
Este juez no puede bajar la fianza, tu abogado lo baja.
What he said.
Sorry, Your Honor.
It's all right.
He wanted to ask a question, I told him not to speak. It was his message, not speaking.
Generally that's case. All righty. Thank you. That's it for interpreter cases.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good weekend.
You too. Bye-bye. Your name, sir?
Akeem Blake.
All right, Mr. Blake, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery, domestic violence. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find that there is sufficient probable cause. Do you have another place to go other than 7348 Briarland Court to live?
No, sir.
Because I'm not, since there's nobody here, I can't let you go back there. You're not going to be able to have any contact with Christine Blake, on the short term at least. So you're going to have to find somewhere else.
Yes, sir.
Okay? All right, I'll step on the amount of $500. No contact with Christine Blake. No return to 7348 Briarland Court. You can go back there one time with law enforcement to pick up any personal items that you may need. And that when I say personal items, that's stuff like clothing and toiletries. That's not any weapons. It's not.
He had 2 cases. That Spanish guy had 2 cases.
Did he? Oh,
Well, the interpreter probably gone. It's the same thing.
yeah. Oh, you know what? I remember I signed 2 warrants on him. Yeah.
So everything.
Yeah, just stay those. But you can go back and pick up any toiletries or clothes or anything you may need, but you have to take law enforcement, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, and again, you're not to have any contact with Christine at all. And I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. I assume that this petty theft has not been filed on, since it's like 2 weeks ago. All right, I'll take no action on that. 500.
You say no weapons.
Yeah, no weapons, no guns, no drugs, no alcohol either.
Yes, sir. Thank
Okay,
you.
all righty.
I don't know if you want those.
Eventually, maybe, I don't know. All right, your name, ma'am?
Jordan Smith.
All right, you're here because you're arrested on a charge of possession of methamphetamine. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Bond set in the amount of $1,000. Did you want to be, having a lawyer appointed?
I don't think I need one.
Pardon?
I don't need one.
You don't, or you do? You don't need an attorney when you're charged with a felony? Oh, I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you. You can always talk to them and ask them to withdraw, but I think you do. right, good luck. Your name, sir? Your name?
Angel Ramon del Valle.
All right, sir, you're here because you're arrested on a charge of possession of methamphetamine and possession of drug paraphernalia. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bond stayed the amount of $1,000 on the first count, $500 on count 2, and I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. Come on up, sir. Your name, sir?
Neville Guerrero.
All right, Mr. Guerrero, you're here today because you're arrested on a probable cause warrant for the charge of criminal mischief, $1,000 or more. The bond is set in the amount of $7,500 on that. Did you want to have a lawyer appointed to represent
Good
you?
morning, Your Honor. Luz Root. I was retained to represent Mr. Guerrero. I filed a notice of appearance last night.
All right, then that we don't need a public defender, you have an attorney. Is there anything you wanted to say?
Yes, Your Honor. He was arrested on this warrant. He lives in Texas. He was turning himself in on the way to Florida. However, he got picked up in Missouri. So he spent 23 days in jail pending for this extradition, and he has a hold for a bond plus PTR. We'd like to ask the court to remove any PTR conditions since he will be going back to Texas. We have no objection to the no return to the scene and no contact with the victim.
Okay, just stay the bond and then just no contact, so the no PTR conditions. We're gonna move it.
Your Honor?
Yep.
Can we just specify on the order that he is allowed to return? Sometimes no PTR conditions isn't enough and we end up
Okay,
stuck
he
back.
can return, that's fine, no return to the, okay. So there's no return to the La Quinta Inn at 5621 Major Boulevard, is that where it occurred? Looks like it did. Okay, yeah. All righty.
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
set.
That's all I have. May I be excused?
Yes, you may, thank you.
Do I exit that way?
Nice to meet you.
Your name, sir?
Shaquille Grant.
All right, Mr. Grant, you're here because you're arrested on on a failure to appear warrant with a $1,000 bond on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Please, Your Honor. Mr. Grant is represented by Johnson Mills. I will be assisting him in co-counseling in this case because I know the family. Can State and I approach briefly?
Sure. What's your position? Okay, yeah, I mean, I know it's Faye's case, she wouldn't object if I felt it was okay, so I'll set it for $500. All righty.
Your Honor.
Yep.
These are all the matters I had before this court. It was always good to see you again, Judge. With your permission, may we be excused?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. All right. Oh, and bond set at 500?
Yes.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah. Your name, sir?
Michael Bentley, sir.
Mr. Bennett, you're here today because you are arrested and charged with 2 charges, child abuse and battery domestic violence. I've read the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Do you have another place to go? And were you living at the Westgate Road address?
That's my family, sir.
Okay.
I'm mistaken, sir. That's what I was going to say.
And where does Miss James live?
Same.
All right. Do you have another place to go?
No, I've been staying there for 3 years.
Because if she's not here, I'm gonna have to order that you have no contact with her and you can't go back there if she's living there. So you're gonna have to find somewhere else to go. Okay?
That's my family.
I understand, but if she's there, you can't be there. Now, that could change if she goes and talks to the state and they're willing to do that. But for right now, I can't let you go back there. So as to count one, the child abuse step bond, the amount of $500, count two, $500. No return to 4137 Westgate Road, although you can go back there one time with law enforcement to pick up any personal items that you may need. You're not to have any contact with Zalea Jones or James. And I know that you have children with her. So is DCF involved? I didn't see that they were.
Your Honor, the victim listed, I believe, is his sister. And his.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that was the child. I had to read it twice to figure that out. Okay, and so no contact with your sister or any witnesses for the time being. And I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. That petty theft, no, that's not, and I'll take no action on the petty theft.
Oh, bro.
All righty, good luck. Come forward, ma'am. Your name, ma'am?
Tramika TR.
Ms. TR, you're here because you're arrested on a charge of battery by strangulation, domestic violence. I've read the charging affidavit, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Do you have a place to go other than 2310 West Jackson?
No, ma'am. No, sir.
Who lives there? That's Morena Finellis? Who's that?
My mom is Susan Malik. He don't live with me.
So he doesn't live at that West Jackson address?
Correct.
Okay. That was just where you guys were meeting for the child exchange? Okay. All right, I'll set bond the amount of $750. You're not to have any contact. Does she qualify? All right. You also qualify for pretrial release, so you don't have to post any monetary bond. There are conditions that come along with pretrial release, but you don't have to actually post any money. So did you want to do that, or would you just like a straight $750 bond?
Can you repeat that again?
Sure. You can pay, one is $750. You have to pay money, which you get out. The other one's pretrial release. You don't have to pay any money, but there are conditions. You have to meet with an officer. There'll be drug testing, things like that.
Oh, in order to get out.
So which one do you want?
You could just do the 700.
Okay, set bond amount of $750. You'd have no contact with Moreno Finellis. No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol. And you're allowed to return to the 2310 address. And appoint a public defender to represent you. Your name, sir?
Marcus Angel.
All right, Mr. Engel, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence. I have read the charging affidavit. It's slim. It's only 3 sentences, but I guess they got it all in there. So I do find sufficient probable cause. Sir, raise your right hand, please. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God.
Yes, sir.
All right, your name, please?
George Hernandez.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to speak up a little.
George Hernandez.
All right, Mr. Hernandez, you're the alleged victim in the case, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, tell me, what do you want me to know?
Not last night. Yesterday morning, we were laying down in the same bed. We started talking, kind of led to an argument. I stated, I don't think we should be together anymore. He then said, it's either we're dating or I'm going home. I said again, I don't think we should be together anymore. I tried to get out of bed. My leg was between his legs. He pinched his legs and didn't let me up. And so I said, let me go. He then grabbed me. I flailed to get him to let me go. He then came and sat up and tried to grab me again. So I grabbed his arms to get him to let me go. And then when I let him go, he slapped me. And then when I was trying to get out, he started pushing me saying, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you.
Do you want to have contact with him, or do you want to have no contact with him? Or no hostile contact. So that's really the 3 options. No contact whatsoever, Or no hostile contact, meaning he can't raise his voice, can't raise his, hand to you or anything?
No hostile contact.
All right. And were you guys living together?
We had just moved here from Texas, and we've been living in the Flamingo Crossings dorms provided by Disney.
Okay.
And yeah, we shared a room.
So the Herzog Road, that's a hotel or something. Do you want him to come back there or no?
He can go get his stuff, but I don't want him to stay there.
Okay, all right. Okay, Mr. Engel, I will set bond in the amount of $500. You have to have no hostile contact with Mr. Hernandez. No hostile contact, no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol. You're to maintain separate residence. You can go back to where you were, had a residence with him one time with law enforcement to pick up any personal items that you may need. And you do qualify for pretrial release, so you could go without monetary conditions as well if you wish. So those are your options, $500, or you can go PTR. PTR doesn't require a monetary bond, but there are conditions that come along with it. You have to meet with an officer, they will drug test you.
So the plan was me going back to Texas. How would that work with me going back home?
Well, whichever way you go, if you bond out, then you could go back. You just have to keep in contact with your attorney, and I will appoint a public defender. Or if you are on pretrial release, then you're going to have to clear that with your pretrial release officer. If you're going to go back to Texas. Okay? What do you want? Which one?
I'll do the PTR.
All right. Pretrial release. No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, no hostile contact with Mr. Hernandez, and maintain a separate residence. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Your name? Your name?
Cloudy Blaze.
Okay. I have Minerva Charlotte.
What's his name?
Oh, it was underneath. Gave you two at once. I'm trying to get through them quicker. All right, Mr. Blaze, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. All right, ma'am, raise your hand, please. Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
And your name?
Pauline Dupree.
All right, and you are the alleged victim in the case?
Yes.
Did you come here to tell me you don't want to have contact or that you do?
I do want to have contact, and I don't want no charges because it was just a miscommunication.
Okay. Well, today that's not what it's going to happen. That's going to be up to the state. But they'll certainly take your position into consideration when they make that decision, okay? All right. And he does qualify? All right, Mr. Blaze, you qualify for pretrial release, which would not require a monetary bond if you wanted that, or I'll set bond the amount of $500. PTR, though, does have conditions. You're going to have to meet with an officer, and they may drug test you.
What is the difference, Your Honor?
What's that? I'm sorry.
What is the difference?
Well, one of them you have to pay $500, and the other one you don't.
The other one I'm done?
No, you don't have to pay. You will be released with conditions. But the bond, you have to pay $500. If you pay that to a bondsman, you probably aren't going to get that back. If you pay it to the county yourself, then you would get it all back if you do a cash bond. If you go pretrial release, you don't have to post the bond at all.
So I have to pay?
Well, that's up to you. You need to tell me what you want. Do you want pretrial release, where you don't have to pay anything, but you will have to meet with an officer, or you want a bond of $500, which you would have to pay, but you don't have to meet with the officer? That's the options.
Okay. So I don't want to pay that.
All right, I'll pretrial release conditions in. No hostile contact, so that means you can't be hostile to Ms. Dupree. No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, and you can go back and be with her, okay?
Your Honor, I think the victim had a question.
Okay, go ahead.
His brother's outside to pay his bond. I don't think he really understands that he can get out, like, with being paid, but his brother is outside.
We can do it either way. If, I mean, I explained it 3 times. I don't know that he doesn't understand that. He can either pay a bond of $500 or he can do pretrial release.
Right.
And he said he doesn't want to pay. I mean, if he wants to,
Hey, the process is gonna be continued or?
okay, this case is gonna go forward regardless of whether you take PTR or bond out. Okay? This is merely about whether you're gonna get out of jail and how you're gonna get out of jail today.
Okay, let me just pay it and finish. with
All
it.
right. $500 bond, not pretrial release.
Okay.
Okay.
He didn't qualify, but you go ahead and point it. I don't know if he got any support to him either.
You make $1,500 a week?
Okay.
Do you?
You said if I can give you?
No. I said, do you make $1,500 a week?
Oh, yeah, sometimes. The
All right.
kind of
No,
job
he
that I
doesn't,
made,
he doesn't
I
qualify. I'm not gonna point a public.
1,500 or.
Okay, I
Sometimes
just wanted to see if you qualified, you don't, so I'm not gonna appoint a lawyer, you're gonna have to hire somebody, because you make too much money, okay? All right, and just let them know that the bond paper will come down and the brother can bond him out.
Okay. Up downstairs?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Your name, ma'am?
Hello,
Hello, your name?
Minerva Charlo.
Hi, Mr. Charlo, you're here, Ms. Charlo, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery, domestic violence. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Now, were you living at the 706 20th Street address?
Yes, sir, that's my mom's address.
All right, and your mom is Clotaire Pierre?
No,
Who is-
that's
who is
her
that?
husband. That's
Her husband. Do you have another place to go and live?
I can try, yes,
With
sir.
a friend or somebody?
Yes, sir.
Because since there's nobody here, I'm gonna have to order that you not go back there and have any contact with them on the short term. Now, if it turns out later on that they're willing to do that, it can be changed.
Yes,
okay?
sir.
All right. I'll set on the amount of $500. Does she qualify? All right. And I'm gonna order that you not return to 706 20th Street, Orlando. You can go back there one time with law enforcement to get clothes, toiletries, stuff like that. Okay?
Because I'm on bond already, and
Yep, we're gonna talk about that in a second, okay? And you're not to have any contact with Clotaire Pierre. No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol. As this case, well, the Agasol clearly hasn't been filed on yet, I assume.
No, Your Honor, it was just picked up on the 20th of May.
Yeah, all right, I'll take no action on that. And appoint a public defender. She's already got one on the other one. Okay, thank you, ma'am. Your name? All right, Mr. Gooden, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Were you living at the 5420 Silver Star Road address?
No.
Where do you live?
5516 Pine Chase Drive.
Who, does Teresa live at that Silver Star address?
No, sir. That's just, I think that's just where they met her at. Talked to her.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. All right, so what address do you live at? 5516 Pine Chase? All right, and does she live there also?
Yes.
All right, do you have another place to go other than that?
Yes, sir.
All right. He does? So you do qualify for pretrial release, so I can set a bond of $500, or I can release you with pretrial release conditions. One costs money, one doesn't, but you do have conditions on pretrial release. Which one do you want to do?
I will take the pretrial.
I'm sorry?
Take the pretrial.
All right, so pretrial release, no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, no return to the 5516 Pine Chase Drive, except one time you can go with law enforcement, pick up any personal items, and you'd have no contact with Teresa Williams. You're welcome. Your name, sir?
Daquan Laster.
All right, Mr. Lasser, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find sufficient probable cause. Do you have another place to live? Well, first of all, were you living at the 4034 Norwich Road?
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have another place to go?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you qualify for pretrial release, so you got two options. I can set a bond of $500, and there'll be some conditions you can't, and I'll tell you about those. Or you can go pretrial release where it doesn't cost you anything, but you have to meet with an officer and they may drug test you.
I'll pay.
You want the 500?
Yes, sir.
All right. Set a bond amount of $500. You're not to possess any guns, drugs, weapons, or alcohol. You're not to return to 4334 Norwich Road, except for you can go one time with a law enforcement officer to pick up any personal items that you need, clothes, that kind of stuff. Can't take furniture, any TVs or anything.
Okay, so my $500. 500 is $100, correct?
Well, that's going to be up to the bondsman, but yeah, usually that's what happens. And then you're not to have any contact with Kiana Reynolds.
And with that being said, is it somewhere where she can go downtown to, because we stay together? I know I got to go somewhere different for the meantime, but how we go, because we just moved in that place and all my money went towards it.
Okay, I understand that. You're going to have to go somewhere else in the short term. You can go there one time to pick up anything that you need.
I understand. Sorry to cut you
Yeah.
off. I understand that.
Okay. Okay, good luck. Point of public defender. Your name, sir?
Dylan Perez.
Mr. Perez, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery, domestic violence. I have read the stalking. I have read the charging affidavit, and I do find there's sufficient probable cause. You are obviously, you are not living at 1521 Nella Avenue, correct?
Correct.
All right. Okay. I'll set bond the amount of $750. You're to have no contact with Nicole Welch. No phone calls, no texts, no computer, email, nothing. Okay? Can't go by where she is. No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, and you make $850 a week. Is that right?
Correct.
You make a little too much. I can't appoint a public defender to represent you. You have to hire an attorney. What was the other one?
May I ask a question, Your Honor?
Hold on a second. I think we got another charge. I think we had two. Okay, yeah. Hang on a second. There was also a battery domestic violence charge. Okay, I marked it, so I must have read it.
There's two of them, Your Honor?
And that was alleged to occur at 2466 Ridge Avenue. Who lives at that address?
I do. That's me and my family's home.
Okay. Was Taylor Welch living there also?
No, she doesn't live there and never has.
Okay, so that 2466 is where you're going to go to live, is that right?
Correct.
Okay. All right, I'll set bond on that in the amount of $500 and no contact with Taylor Welch at all, no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, maintain a separate residence. Yep, yep. All righty, you're all set. You got bonds above?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Oh, wait. Yeah, he has to. Your name, ma'am?
Alana Ramnarayan Kandai.
Okay, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery domestic violence. I've read the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Were you living at the Roseberry Court address?
Yes, Your Honor.
And do you have another place to go other than that?
I do.
Okay. All right, I will set bond the amount of $500. Or you qualify for pretrial release, which wouldn't require a $500 bond, but there are conditions. You have to meet with the pretrial release officer, and they may drug test you. So it doesn't cost you money, but there are conditions, other conditions that go along with it. Would you rather have just the straight bond, or would you like pretrial release?
The pretrial releases, what do I have to just get tested?
There'll be drug testing. You got to meet with your officer. They'll require you to speak with them from time to time until the case is resolved.
The first one.
You want that?
Yeah.
Okay. Pretrial release, no return to 9 Roseberry Court, Ocoee, Florida, although you can go there one time with law enforcement to pick up any personal items that you need, okay? No contact with Alana Devi Kandai, and no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, okay? Yep.
I'm Alana.
No contact, I meant no contact with, is it Leanna?
Leanna, yes.
Leanna, okay, Leanna.
If she goes by my sister, can I go to the house tonight?
You have to maintain separate residences.
Yes, I spoke to my sister, and she will be going over by my sister's house. I spoke to her earlier.
Okay, well, I'm appointing a public defender for you. Make sure you keep in contact with them and check with them to make sure it's okay you do anything moving wise before you do it, just in case you don't want to get into a violation situation.
Yes,
Okay?
I'm sorry.
No, leave that and then maintain. So right now it's no return, but she may move out and then it'll be okay. Okay. She said she's still there now,
Right.
but she may go. So that's why I told her, don't go. All righty, take care. Good luck. Your name, sir?
Jonathan Armstrong, sir.
Hi, Mr. Armstrong, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I've read the charging affidavit, and I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Were you living with Angel Del Valle?
Your Honor.
Yep.
May I brief? Just be brief. Angel and I lived together in a group home. Angel, he's in here with me. He just
Okay.
came just a moment ago. He's in a cell with me. He attempted to steal from me, and I asked him not to. And he got, by my boisterousness, he called enforcement and got me arrested. Said that I pulled a weapon. Angel then, after getting me locked away, went to break into where my landlord hid my things. To try, because he's trying to get high. And it has caused, I have been fighting from homelessness for the last year and a half, mental health. And all of it being distorted right now. And I didn't even want to press charge. I thought they were going to take it.
Okay. Well, what I need to know now is though, so Angel's in jail, you're telling me?
He's here with me.
Okay.
Because he continued to do what he done to me.
All right. But the Gulf Vista Courts address, who lives there?
We live there. It's a
You and Angel.
It's a group home. We're all in a group home.
Yeah.
And I'm the last to show up at that group home because I moved from Poinciana to this one. And I've been in
All right, here we go.
3
All right.
years now.
Okay, bond is $3,500. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. I'm gonna say that you need to keep a separate residence from Angel Del Valle. So if you're there, if he's there, you can't live there. If you're there and he's in jail, it's fine, okay? Understand?
The landlord's already takes our money. It's for real.
Okay.
It's all.
All right, no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol. You can't take any kind of prescription medication that you may need, okay?
Your
All
Honor,
right,
I'm
yep.
sorry, what was that amount?
3,500.
Thank you.
I'm just staying in, yeah. All right, like that. A couple more of those and we'll be all right. Your name, ma'am?
Jana Kaplan.
Hi, Ms. Kaplan, you're here because you're arrested on a charge of grand theft by fraud and possession of methamphetamine. I have reviewed the charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. The bonds are stayed at $2,500 count one, $1,000 count two. And you're also arrested on a fugitive warrant, and that was from out of county? Burlington County, New Jersey. And there's no bond on that. We will make New Jersey aware of the fact that you're here. And they will come and get you, or if they don't, then eventually that'll get resolved, okay? And I will appoint a public defender to represent you here on the new charges.
Okay, for the out of county, can I waive the additional?
Yeah, they're gonna come by and talk with you. The people here from the extradition, they'll come by and talk to you about that. And that is an option that you will have.
Okay.
They'll have the paperwork for you to do that.
And I just have to wait until?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Maxon Cesaline is a bond.
Mm-hmm. Your name, sir? Mr. Tessino, you're here because you're arrested on a warrant for a charge of burglary of a structure. Their bond is set in the amount of $1,500, and I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. Yeah, no return to the scene. Can't go back there if you do bond out, okay?
Right.
Thank you. Your name, sir?
Arnold Dixon, sir.
Mr. Dixon, you're here because you're arrested on a warrant for a charge of child abuse. Bond set in the amount of $1,000 on that. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. And has the possession case been filed on from January?
I got court for that Thursday, sir. I've been.
Means it may be. Yeah, no contact, no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol. All right, I'll take no action. Yeah. All right, we'll leave that bond in place. Don't miss your court date.
Okay.
Your name, sir?
Rory Fountain.
All right, Mr. Fountain, you're here today because you were arrested on a warrant for the charge of fleeing, attempting to elude. I read that it does appear to be that there was sufficient probable cause. I'll set bond the amount of $1,500. Do not operate a motor vehicle if you do not have a valid Florida driver's license. No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol. And I will appoint a public defender to represent you on that charge.
You say how much is the bond?
$1,500. Your name?
Daniel Gardner.
Mr. Gardner, you're here because you're arrested on two charges, possession of a controlled substance, possession of OxyContin. I did have a question about this one. What is the second, because it's a possession of a controlled substance and possession of OxyContin. Obviously, OxyContin is a controlled substance. And the only thing I saw in here was that they had something identified as OxyContin.
Yes, Your Honor. I believe there were two separate bottles because that confused me as well. It's the way it's numbered is really strange. There's a number 1 and number 2, and they were both OxyContin. So the state has no objection to probable cause only being found for one of the charges.
All right, what I'll do is I'll find PC on the first count, stay that bond at 1,000, and then I'll ROR on count 2. Okay? So it's just $1,000, and I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol if you bond out, okay? She does, all right. Your name, ma'am?
Shayla Ginyard.
All right, ma'am, you're here today because you're arrested on a arrest warrant, probable cause warrant, for bank fraud, grand theft, third degree, structuring, more than 300, less than 20,000 in a 12-month period, making false statement to obtain property or credit. And there are bonds on those, but you do qualify for a pretrial release, which would not require any monetary bonds. But there are conditions that go along with that. You'd have to be with an officer. They would drug test you, and you have to keep in contact with your officer. If you don't want to do that, then the bonds are $2,500, and then on the first count, and $150 on the other 3 counts or 4 counts. So which one did you want to do?
I'll take the pretrial release.
All right, I'll release your pretrial with pretrial conditions. Do not return to the bank in the case. No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, and appoint a public defender to represent you. Your name, sir?
Eric Griffin.
I'm Mr. Griffin. You're here today because you're arrested on the charge of possession of cocaine. I did read the charging affidavit. You do find sufficient probable cause. Bond set in the amount of $1,000 on that. Any of these other cases that he's ROR'd on, or I guess one he had a bond that they've been filed on?
Checking.
They look within the last couple of months, so it's, well, there's one that's from December, so that's the only one that's probably possible.
One for
2022 CF.
The 2022 case has been filed on, and it is set for trial on July 24th with Judge Wooten.
All right, I'll revoke that ROR, set a new bond of $2,000 on that, and leave the other two in place. And appoint a public defender to represent them. Excuse me? Yeah, no action on there's one with a $1,000 bond, I think, and one where he was ROR'd on, since they haven't filed on those. Yeah, this one, that one right here, revoke, new bond of 2,000. Yeah, 2,000. The 22. No action, yeah. Your name, sir?
Ryan Hill.
All right, Mr. Hill, you're here for two cases. First of all, you were arrested on charge of grand theft of a firearm. I have read the charging affidavit. There is sufficient probable cause. Bonds of set at $1,000. Okay, and then you also qualify for pretrial release. We'll talk about that in a second. You're also arrested on a arrest warrant for the same charge for grand theft of a firearm, and bond on that is $500. But you do, so it would be $1,500. But you do qualify for pretrial release. Doesn't require a monetary bond. That you will have to report into an officer. You will be drug tested, and you have to report in every month. Do you want to do that, or you want to do the bonds?
The first option, please.
All right, so we'll do pretrial release on those. No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
appoint a public defender to represent you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the warrant one was number one. Your name, sir?
Jesse James.
All right, Mr. James, you're here because you're arrested. According to the charging affidavit, let me see if it's on there. Yeah, it just has possession of cocaine and possession of controlled substance. But if you read the charging affidavit, it looks like there's a petty theft also. They even lists it as one of the possible charges, but I didn't see that. Is he being held on a petty theft?
Your Honor, I have an add-on for larceny.
I don't see that. I mean, I think that there would be PC for it from what I read in the affidavit, but it didn't make the front of the charging.
Yes, Your Honor. I have two separate cases. I believe it might have been
Oh, did it get? Do we have that? Was that for a different day? I don't
no,
have.
I have it as an add-on for today.
Oh, okay. All right. So as to the possession of a controlled substance without a prescription and the possession of cocaine, I do find sufficient probable cause. I will stay those bonds of $1,000. And on the petty theft, if there is an add-on on that, I'll set bond.
I don't have it.
Oh, you don't have it? Oh, I thought I. Okay.
Hold on. Let me have it.
Okay.
You have it too, Sheriff? Because we don't have it.
Madam Clerk, would you like the number, the case number?
His MA number?
No, the case number.
What's the case number?
23 MM 386 AW. 386.
386?
Yep, 386.
That seems awful low for this late in the year. 386 is awful low for this time of year already.
Okay, 23 MM.
Yes.
Because you said 386.
Yeah, she says 386. That's what I mean. That seems way too low for. I mean, we're sitting 3rd of June.
It's 386 AW. That's why I can't.
Oh, there you go. That explains it.
Right.
It's Winter Park case.
Hold on. Let me look and see if I got it.
There we go.
386 AW. You keep doing this. You have it, Cheryl?
See, he's being held on that.
I need one. Can you print me one? Because I don't have nothing. The 386.
Charging affidavit?
I need a charging affidavit. Let me take it right quick.
Okay. Well, then we won't have, you'll have to do one of those, the bond papers for me to sign, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we got it straightened out now. That's a good thing. So you have 3 cases. 2 of them are the drug cases, possession of a controlled substance without a prescription and possession of cocaine. I do found probable cause on those. And bonds 1,000 and 1,000. You're not to possess any guns, weapons, drugs, or alcohol. And we're going to get on the petty theft. Bond will be set in the amount of $500 on that, in order that you not return to the Walmart store at 10,500 West Colonial Drive. And I'll appoint a public defender on all of the cases for you. Okay? Yes. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. Okay, your name? Oh, Jeremy Johnson. All right. Public defender waive.
We'll waive.
All right. Appoint a public defender, set bond at $1,000, no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol. See, Judge Harris, that's how you do it. All right, we waive?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I will stay bond at $2,500, appoint a public defender to represent him on the carry and concealed firearm. Stay bond at $5,000 on the ag assault with a firearm, appoint a public defender on that case as well. Yep, so it'd be, was it 2,500 and 500? Yes, he had two, there was two, both warrants. All right, you ready? Your name, sir?
Tamarcus King, sir.
All right, Mr. King, you're here for several, looks like 4 cases. In the first case, it's a aggravated battery with a firearm, discharging firearm in public, possession of firearm by convicted delinquent, criminal mischief, shooting at or within a building, and grand theft third-degree motor vehicle. It's based on a probable cause warrant signed by Judge Collins. The bonds are stayed $250,000 on an aggravated battery.
Sir,
That's not bond schedule.
Sir, they misidentified me for somebody, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna reduce that bond to 50,000 on the first one. I don't think that's bond schedule, even close to bond schedule. The rest of them will be stayed 250, 250, 250, 250, and appoint a public defender on that case. The next one is we're charged with armed burglary of a structure with a firearm, criminal mischief, grand theft, and burglary of a structure. I have read the charging affidavit 3 different times for 3 different people. I do find sufficient probable cause. On the armed burglary of a structure with a firearm, set bond amount of $5,000. Criminal mischief stay at $1,000. The grand theft, reduce that to $1,000. And the burglary of a structure while wearing a mask, $1,000. Point a public defender on that case. And then you have burglary of a conveyance, fraudulent use of a credit card, attempted fraudulent use of a credit card theft, and petty theft. Did find that was all based on an arrest warrant signed by Judge Egan, maybe. And I'll stay those bonds, 2,500, 2,500, 2,500, 1,000, and 500. Point a public defender on that case. And then the last one's a resisting without violence case. And that was also from an arrest warrant. So I'm going to reduce that bond to $100 and appoint a public defender on that case as well. That's right, no contact. All the conditions remain the same. All righty. All right. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Your name, sir?
Talik Long.
All right, sir, you're here because you're arrested on a charge of grand theft third degree of a motor vehicle. I have read the charging affidavit. Bond was stated in the amount of $1,000. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. Where is the, has the robbery case been filed on?
22. 7. 6. It's not. I believe it has, but when I put that number, oh, yes, Your Honor, it's been filed on. It's set for a status on August 8th.
All right, I'll revoke the bond. There'll be no bond on that. And again, public defender appointed on the new case. Thank you, sir. Your name, sir? Come forward. All right, Mr. McCrimmon, you're here because you're arrested on 3 charges: possession of amphetamine, possession of cannabis, less than 20 grams, and possession of drug paraphernalia. If you have read the charging affidavit, I do find there's sufficient probable cause. Bonds will be stayed at $1,000. I'm going to reduce the cannabis to $100 and the paraphernalia to $100, and I will appoint a public defender to represent you. And I know that's not filed on; it's too new, so I'll leave the other bond in place. We're all set. No action. They haven't filed, I'm sure.
We haven't.
Yeah, it's a March case. All right. What about Kelly McClohan? Oh, she's got to be here. She didn't have a bond. Your name, ma'am?
Yes, Kelly Lynn McMullen.
All right, ma'am, you're here because you're arrested on a charge of fleeing, attempting to elude. I've read the charging affidavit. You find there's sufficient probable cause. I'll set bond the amount of $1,000. You're not to operate a motor vehicle without a valid Florida driver's license, and I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a good day.
Hey, how you doing?
Your name, sir?
Orion Morgan.
All right, Mr. Morgan, you're here today because you're arrested on 3 charges: armed burglary, criminal mischief, and grand theft. I will set bond the amount of $5,000 on the armed burglary. Criminal mischief is $1,000, and the grand theft I'll reduce to $1,000. And I will appoint a public defender to represent you. If you do bond out, you're not to return to 1710 Gale Ridge Road and not to have any contact with co-defendants.
Yes, sir.
All right, and appoint, as I said, appoint a public defender. Although at some point, you guys are going to be withdrawn from, because I think there's 3 or 4 different dudes. So.
Understood.
All righty, you're all set. Your name, sir?
Christopher Dwayne Osteen.
All right, Mr. Osteen, you're here because you're arrested on a charge of possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find sufficient probable cause. As to the possession of cocaine, I will stay the bond at $1,000. On the possession of drug paraphernalia, reduce that to $100, and I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. If you do bond out, you're not supposed to use, possess any guns, weapons, drugs, or alcohol. All right.
Here you go, sir.
Your name, sir?
Bruce Padilla.
Mr. Padilla, you're here today because you were arrested on a probable cause warrant for the charge of trafficking in a controlled substance over 4 grams, possession of a controlled substance with intent to sell or deliver, possession of a firearm and commission of a felony, possession of oxycodone, and possession of cocaine. I will set bonds on the trafficking in controlled substance, $50,000. The possession with intent, $5,000. Possession of firearm in commission of a felony, $1,000. possession of oxycodone, $1,000, and the possession of cocaine, $1,000. I will appoint a public defender to represent you. If you bond out, you're not to use, possess any guns, weapons, drugs, or alcohol. Do you also have another name, Bruce Ayala?
Yeah, I just came out of
Because I think that you have some other, yeah, there's other stuff floating around.
Yeah,
I don't know if we have them today or coming up, but.
Yeah, I just got out of rehab.
Yeah, alrighty.
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you. Excuse me, one
Yep.
question. So 50,000, I gotta pay 5 for it?
That's up to the bondsman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you want to do it, if you want to get it all back, you'd have to pay it all, but a bondsman, that's your deal with them. Okay? Mhm. Yeah. Your name's? Well, it's better than, hey, have a good day, something. Your name, sir? Mr. Parks, you're here today because you're arrested for 2 charges, possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia. You find sufficient probable cause as the possession of cocaine, bond be $1,000. I'll reduce the possession of drug paraphernalia to $100, and I'll appoint a public defender to represent you.
Yes, sir.
Oh, these damn trafficking cases. All right, you want to waive on that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, as to, I'll appoint a public defender to represent Ms. Peters on count 1. It's with the firearm. I'll set bond amount of $75,000, stay the rest of the bonds. Your name, sir?
Malik Powell Key.
All right, Mr. Powell Key, you're here because you're arrested on a charge of possession of a controlled substance without a prescription. I've read the charging affidavit. You find sufficient probable cause. Bond is set in the amount of $1,000, and I will appoint a public defender to represent you.
Thank you so much.
Your name, sir?
Oliver Puig, sir.
Mr. Puig, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. I've read the charging affidavit, and I do find there's sufficient probable cause. I'm gonna stay the bond at $2,500. And it looks like those other 2 cases are too new, so I'll take that. Yep.
The sale delivery of fentanyl was filed on, that's the 23 CF 000860 case, and it is set for trial on August 28th.
All right, I'll revoke that bond. And I'll set a new bond amount of $3,000. And no action on the other case, because they haven't filed on it yet. Wow, that was a quick file. Mm-hmm. Yep. All righty. All right.
Waive, Your Honor.
You waive. All right. We'll appoint a public defender in all those cases. As to 9260, stay bond at $2,500. 5921, $500. Looks like it's what, 770. $500. 6212, $1,000. And last but not least, 12090, 1,000. That seems way too high. That's like 12,000. There's no way that could be right. They're not that high in circuit yet, are they? Oh, okay. Oh, that explains it. All right, your name, sir?
Jalen Reynolds.
All right, Mr. Reynolds, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of armed burglary of a structure with a firearm, criminal mischief, grand theft, $20,000 or more, less than $100,000, and burglary of a structure with while wearing a mask. What did I set the last one for? Is it 5,000 on count 1? Do you remember?
I'm looking, Your Honor.
It's the same exact charges.
It was for Tamarcus.
Yep.
This is Reynolds.
Yeah, he's a co-defendant. He's looking for a similar bond.
Yeah.
So it was 5,000 on count 1, and then 1,000 on the remaining 3.
All right, that's what I'll do then. Same thing. Yeah, 5,000, 1,000, 1,000, and point of public defender. If you bond out, no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, no contact with the co-defendants.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
And to Marcus Reynolds was a refusal.
Okay.
Waive, Your Honor.
All right, point of public defender, state bond in the amount of $1,000, no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol. Your name, sir?
Brennan Sanborn.
Mr. Sanborn, you're here today because you rest on the charge of possession of cannabis more than 20 grams. I've read the charging affidavit. If you find sufficient probable cause, I can either stay the bond at $1,000, or you do qualify for pretrial release, which wouldn't require any money, but you do have to check in with your pretrial release officer at least on a monthly basis, and they'll probably drug test you.
Do you know how long my probation period might be?
It's not any probation. This is just to see if you can get out of jail today.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Do you want a bond of $1,000, or do you want pretrial release?
I can pay my bond, my 10% of my bond, like right now.
All right, I'll set bond the amount of $1,000, not to possess any guns, weapons, drugs, or alcohol. And do you want a public defender appointed?
Yes.
I'll appoint a public defender to
Yes,
represent
I
you.
need a public defender.
All right, your name, sir?
Kieran Uter.
All right, Mr. Uter, you're here today for a couple of cases. The charges are trafficking in fentanyl, trafficking in methamphetamines, possession of cannabis with intent, possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, robbery, ag battery, and resisting officer without violence. The problem I have with the PC is it doesn't give, let me make sure. This was one, it doesn't have any weights.
Yes, Your Honor. There are 2 supplemental reports referenced. The state would just ask for 24 hours.
All right, I'll give you 24 hours. Yeah, they don't, just to let you know, what they filed just does not rise to the level of probable cause at this point. And so they're asking for 24 hours. They're entitled to that, so I'll give them 24 hours. That means within 24 hours, they have to file a supplement because the charging affidavit doesn't list any weights. And that's how it gets to be trafficking, is weight, right? Otherwise, it's just possession, and then I wouldn't find probable cause for the trafficking, which is really where the heavy bonds are gonna be. So we'll bring you back tomorrow, and they're gonna file the supplements, and we'll take a look at it. You do have a driving while license suspended charge. There was sufficient probable cause, and that bond is $500. I'll stay that bond.
Driving while license suspended?
Oh, that's the wrong, hold on, no. That's not you.
No, that's fine.
That's the next guy. I'd already moved on. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, just reset them for tomorrow. All righty, we'll see you tomorrow. If they don't have it by tomorrow, then then you may get our award on this. Okay, your name, sir?
Zay Vega.
All right, sir, you're here for, first of all, trafficking in cocaine, more than 28 grams, less than 200 grams, trafficking in controlled substance, more than 4 grams, possession of heroin with intent within 1,000 feet of a school, neglect of a child, times 3. And neglect of a child, times 3. And this is based on a probable cause warrant signed by a circuit judge. As to, and I'll stay those bonds, count 1 trafficking is 10,000, count 2 trafficking 10,000, count 3 10,000. The neglect of child to 3 charges, there's ROR on that. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. You also had a driving while license suspended charge, and I'll set bond amount of $500 on that. You're not to operate a motor vehicle without a valid Florida license if you do bond out on that charge. And yeah.
The first one said no possession.
Yep, no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol.
No, I can't.
Thank you, sir. We'll waive, Your Honor.
All right, I'll appoint a public defender, stay the bonds, $1,000, count one, $1,000, count two. Your name, sir?
Ryan Zucrego.
All right, sir, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of possession of fentanyl, possession of drug paraphernalia, and possession of cannabis. I have read the charging affidavit. I do find sufficient probable cause in those. Bond is stayed at $1,000 on the fentanyl case. I'm going to reduce the drug paraphernalia to $100 and the possession of cannabis to $100. You also have a charge of no valid driver's license. I will reduce that bond to $100 as well and appoint a public defender on that one too. Okay? Your name?
Rita Barnes.
Ms. Barnes, you're here because you're arrested on 2 warrants for failing to appear. The bond is $1,500 on that. And I assume did you have a lawyer on that case before, or no? You,
Public defender.
oh, so you already do have somebody. Okay. You're all set.
And it at the time it had got swapped out because the people that I had the assault.
Right, so the PD withdrew and you got the conflict counsel office.
Yes.
Okay. All right, they'll be aware that you're here. Okay?
And I was trying to see if I know because they're saying my bond besides the $1,500 that is also $100 extra for each. I was just trying to see like if there's any way like I could probably get it lower. I just buried my son yesterday and literally.
Yeah, I understand. At this point, I can't really do that because the judge in Division 62, that was their bond, so I can't really do anything to it. So I have to leave it at that. Now, public defenders appointed, they can get in contact with the judge and see if maybe they can get that reduced on Monday, okay?
So I'll be here until Monday.
Well, unless you can bond out. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Your name, sir?
Marquise Jordan.
Mr. Jordan, you're here because you arrested on a couple of failure to appear warrants out of Division 50, 2 charges. There's $2,000 on each count, and I believe you already had an attorney in that case. Yeah, Dean Mosley's already representing you. Okay, you're all set?
The person I was with, they had a warrant. Is it got this? All right, appreciate it.
No, you don't have to talk.
You had me in the crazy house.
Your name, ma'am? Your name? Your name?
My name's Sheena Keenan.
All right, Ms. Kinos, you're here because you were arrested on a failure to appear warrant for a disorderly conduct charge. You failed to appear back on April 27th. There is a $500 bond on that, and if you didn't have a lawyer, I'll appoint a public defender for you now. Okay, so you'll have a lawyer going forward. Okay?
But I was in a mental health hospital, and that's why I didn't appear.
Well, you need to let your attorney know that. She's with their office. She'll let them know, and then they'll let the judge know.
So how much is the bond?
It's $500.
So I have to pay $500?
Well, if you can get a bondsman to do less, then you might be able to get out. Okay? Good luck.
Okay. So when will my next court?
Your attorney will tell you.
Your name, sir?
Jeremy Marte.
All right, sir, you're here today because you're arrested on charge of no valid driver's license.
Yes, sir.
I will set bond the amount of, he can't plead on these cases? He's got 2. He's already, looks like out on bond on 1. I don't know what division that is. I mean, I don't know if he's on probation or something. That might cause him not to.
Just 1 minute.
Good time serve him court costs if he wants to.
That's agreeable to me. I just can't see anything on this 20 case, so I don't know. Yeah, they were unable to pull up the case. That's the only.
Potentially.
Sad that you would do that. Your Honor, I
for whatever reason, unable to pull up the 2020 CT case, but the state has no objection to him.
Just
Resolving.
go ahead and resolve them, okay,
That shouldn't be a problem.
on both the 2020 CT 2417 and the new one. And then 2023 CT 378.
Mr. Honor, he would like to resolve the case today.
Okay. All right, so raise your right hand, please solemnly swear testimony you're about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Sir.
So you just want to go ahead and enter pleas of no contest to both of these no valid driver's license, it'd be time served in court costs, is that what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
All right, are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today?
No, sir.
Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
No, sir.
All right, just got a plea form there. It's going to tell you the rights that you're giving up, and I'm going to run over a couple of them real quick, so you don't have to read it over right now. But you understand by entering this plea, you're going to give up the right to proceed to trial, the right at that trial to have a lawyer represent you, and one would be appointed if you cannot afford it. The right to have the case, require the state to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. The right to question or cross-examine any witnesses the state would present to testify against you. The right to present your own witnesses. And finally, the right for you to testify or refuse to testify as provided by the United States and Florida constitutions. You understand you're giving up all those rights?
Yes, sir.
And finally, understand this is punishable by up to a maximum of 60 days in jail and up to a $500 fine. Those things aren't going to happen, but that is the maximum. And that the penalty, these pleas could be used against you if you're not a citizen in any deportation proceeding.
Yes, sir.
All right. I will accept your pleas. As to the 2022 CT 2417AO, I will withhold adjudication, time served, close court costs, and a $50 cost of prosecution. And I'll give you 12 months to get that paid. That's going to be about $301, so you can pay a little or all at once, as long as it's paid in the next 12 months. Yep.
Question, if I get my license, I still have
Well, if you got your license, then I expect that whoever had these cases might dismiss them, and it would save you that money.
Okay.
So, but you'd have to bond out. If you want to just resolve them today, then you can get a license. This won't stop you from getting a license, but it won't change the fact that you've already pled on the charges. So you still want to resolve them?
I would take the plea, sir.
You just want to resolve them then? You still want to go forward or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So as to 2022, as I said, CT 2417AO, withhold adjudication, time served court costs. As to 2023, CT 3789AO, withhold adjudication, time served, court costs, $50 cost of prosecution, 12 months to pay, and those sentences run concurrent with one another. And as I said, this won't affect you. You can go get a license still. You can get 20 no valid driver's license and it would never keep you from getting a license. As long as you're not in arrears on anything else. Okay? All righty. Good luck.
Sorry,
Yep.
last question.
Yep.
So I could bond out, correct? I don't have a hold on,
That's right. Yep. You're all set.
that's why I could.
Yep. You don't have the bond out. You're done. Yeah, you pled. See, I'm just, yes.
I know, like, that's confusing me. Like, what?
All right. Your name, sir?
Harry Ray Rowe Jr.
Mr. Rowe, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of no valid driver's license, driving license suspended, and failure to register a motor vehicle. I've read that charging affidavit. I do find that there's sufficient probable cause. Looks like he's out on bond. And the bonds are set as follows. As to the no valid driver's license, I'm going to reduce that to $100. The driving license suspended, reduce that to $500. And the no registration, $100. And I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. And I'll take no action on the bond case.
Sir, can I talk for a minute?
Yep.
I just went to court Wednesday in Ocoee.
Yep.
And the Honorable Judge Martha Adams said since it's a 49cc scooter, it requires no registration, and anything that does not require registration also requires no driver's license.
Okay.
So if she's telling me that I don't need a registration or a license, why am I being pulled over by Ocoee police and taken to jail for it?
Well, at this point, you just got arrested. So the state may not file on it, or they may not go forward. They may say, you know what, he's right, we're not gonna go forward. But if they do, that sounds like a defense. Sounds like you talk to your assistant public defender about that, and they'll get that set up for you, okay? Because that's gonna be up to them now to take that information to the state.
Who?
Because you're a lawyer. Because the judge is quoting to you what the fact is, in other words, what the law would say, but the scooter you have may be just over the line. Maybe you're incorrect about what it actually is. I don't know. I'm just saying that's usually what happens. Okay. So, but you have a lawyer. They'll talk to the state. You talk to them, and they'll talk to the state about that and see if maybe they can get it dropped for you. Okay.
So, as a judge, do anything 50cc and under, does it require a registration or license? I'm not trying to get in trouble each time, but if a judge...
Yeah, I know. But here's the problem, because what they tell you sometimes, the number is like, a lot of them are just over the line or just under the line, okay? And so it could be that you do have a defense for it. So that's gonna be up to your attorney, though. They're gonna be able to go to the state and show them that information. Hopefully they can find something about your scooter that they can give the state to show a specific number as to what the CC is.
Well, it's
Okay.
a 2000 model and it's never been registered. And it's coincident, it's never been registered, and it's 23 years old because it never had to been registered.
Right. Well, just because something hasn't been registered doesn't mean it didn't have to be, because we know people do that all the time. But I'm not saying yours needed to be registered. I don't know, unfortunately. All I have is a traffic ticket. I don't have anything about your particular scooter. But your attorney will be able to dive into that, okay? Yep. Your name, sir?
It's Carl Jones.
Mr. Jones, you're here today for two matters. First of all, trespass on an occupied structure and resisting an officer without violence. There is sufficient probable cause on that. The bond on the resisting without violence would be $100, and the trespass, $100. I'm going to reduce them both to $100, and I'm going to appoint a public defender to represent you.
Can I see if the state has an offering for me today, please?
Do they have? I don't know. Usually they would.
Adjudication.
Just one moment, Your Honor.
Sure.
Mr. Jones was just here on May 10th for an open container. I believe he saw me. For this case, state would be offering credit time served with a no return to the Wawa, and please don't come back to see me.
I can do that.
You want to do that? All right.
Wow, I do.
It will not be credit time served next time.
Okay, for both. Okay.
That's it, yeah. Adjudication, time served, court costs, and I'll give you 12 months to pay. All right? She's going to fill out a plea form.
All right.
Raise your right hand, solemnly swear testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
So help me God.
You do wish to enter a plea of no contest to these two charges, is that right?
For those two
All right.
charges.
Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol?
No.
Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
No.
All right, on that plea form, it tells you that you have the right to proceed to trial. You have the right to, at that trial, to be represented by an attorney, and if you cannot afford one, one will be appointed. You have the right to question or cross-examine any witnesses the state would bring to testify against you. You have the right to bring your own witnesses. And finally, you have the right to testify or refuse to testify based upon your rights under the Florida and United States Constitution. You understand you're giving up those rights?
Yep.
You also understand that you have the right to require the state to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. Yes? Okay, then the resisting is punishable, actually, they're both punishable by up to a year in the county jail, up to a $1,000 fine, and that the entry of your plea could be used against you in a deportation proceeding if you're not a citizen. You understand that?
Yes.
All right. I'll accept your pleas. As to count one, resisting without violence, I'll withhold, I guess. Withhold adjudication, count one, sentence time served, impose court cost, $50 cost of prosecution. Trespass, occupied structure, I'll withhold adjudication. Time served, those sentences run concurrent with one another, and I order that you not return to the Wawa store for a period of 1 year. If you do go back there and the court is made aware of that, meaning I hear that you've gone back there, you are subject to a contempt citation, which could result in up to 180 days in the Orange County Jail. All right. The court costs and the cost of prosecution needs to be paid at any time in the next 12 months. Okay.
All right.
You're all set.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Stay out of trouble,
Right.
please.
I got a withhold on both and credit for both, right?
It won't be the next time.
Yes, sir. Could you sign here at the bottom where it says defendant, please? Right there at the bottom, sir. All right, thank you.
All right.
For some reason, they're not on any of the paperwork.
Oh,
They're,
what was the case?
Oh,
number?
23 MM 138A.
All right.
thank you.
Timothy Reardon.
We'll waive, Your Honor.
All right, I will appoint a public defender, set bond in the amount of $500. No guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol, no return to 61 East Pine Street, the Cocktail Lounge. No contact with Joseph Senia, S-E-N-I-E-A. Your name, sir? All right, you're here today because you arrested on a charge of trespass. I've read the charging affidavit. You find sufficient probable cause. The bond will be set in the amount of $500. And I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. Is there any offer on that case?
No, Your Honor, he's out on a bond already, and he doesn't have any listed convictions, so I didn't want to give him a history.
Okay.
Eligible
All right.
for child diversion.
All righty. And I'll take no action on that on bond.
Yeah, probably 200. Your attorney will call you.
Come on up, sir. Your name, sir?
What's your name?
Your name?
Your name?
Walensky, St. Louis.
All right, sir, you're here today because you're arrested on a trespass after warning case. I've read the charging affidavit. Do you find there's sufficient probable cause? Is there an offer?
It would be credit.
I ain't do nothing to those people over there, you know what I'm saying? And I ain't steal nothing. I didn't touch nobody.
All right, then I'll set bond in the amount of $500. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you. You're all set.
You got, sir.
No return. All right. Hope that's not an 84 case. All right, your name, ma'am?
Danielle Thomas.
All right, Ms. Thomas, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of battery. And let's see. Were you living at the Encore Apartments on Americana Boulevard?
No, my sister was staying over there.
That's Davine Mathis. Is that right?
No, Davis Mathis, that's my first love.
Who is that?
First love.
Oh, okay. Has there been a second love?
No, no, sir.
Well, maybe that's what needs to happen. All right. Well, so that address then, what is that address? Who lives there?
My sister stayed there. I was there getting my hair done. He ended up dropping me
Okay.
off.
So you don't live there? Perfect. All
My
right.
sister.
And does he live there? Does your
No, he don't live there.
Okay. All right, well, I'll set bond in the amount of $500. You're not to have any contact with Davine Mathis or David Mathis. And I guess you can go back to that, because he didn't live there, you can go back to that address and visit your sister if you want to. I'm not gonna say that, but no guns, no weapons, no drugs, no alcohol.
No,
And,
sir.
and I'll appoint a public defender to represent you, and yeah, that's brand new. I'll take no action on the petty theft case. Your name, sir?
Maurice Thornton, sir.
All right, sir, you're here for two cases. First of all, a battery and a trespass. I read the charging affidavit. I do find that there is sufficient probable cause. The West Livingston, 101 West Livingston is Sunrail. You don't live there, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you got no reason to go back there.
I just wanted to say, clarify something on the record, Your Honor.
I know what you're gonna tell me is that they jumped on you.
Yeah, no.
I'm not saying it didn't happen. I'm just saying I know that because I read that in the affidavit.
Yes, sir. And then the cameras, it was cameras that seen the fight, and they didn't even the officers didn't try to do the right investigation to look at the cameras because I was attacked first, sir. And that wasn't the first time that the incident happened with that person that attacked me.
Okay, well, this is what's gonna happen. Your attorney is gonna hopefully be able to get that for you, okay?
Get the cameras for me? Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
hopefully. So I'm gonna set bond amount of $500 on the battery. I'll reduce the bond on the trespass to $100. If you do bond out, you're not to return to the Sunrail station at 101 West Livingston Street, not to have any contact with the alleged victim or the witnesses in the case, not to possess any guns, weapons, drugs, or alcohol. And it looks like you're also being held on a violation of probation. And there's no bond on that. And I'll appoint a public defender on that if you need one there. Okay?
Do you know when I'll be set court date for my,
I do not know oh, yeah, it's Leon County? Yeah, so we'll let Leon County know that you're here.
yeah, but my.
Then I'll
probation
get
is-
that in the works.
My probation is switched here from Leon County, so my probation.
Well, I understand that, but what that means is that your supervision was up there, but actually if there's a violation, it'll be up there. So they'll have to get you back up there, okay? But we'll let them know that you're here. All righty.
One more thing, Your Honor.
Yep.
The trespassing that I got, how could I be trespassed when I never was in trespass?
Because according to the affidavit that you were there, they asked you to leave and you didn't leave. That's a trespass. If a person that has the ability to ask you to leave does so and then you refuse to leave, that's a trespass. That's how it reads. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that's what it says in the affidavit, and that's what I have to go on to find probable cause. Okay? But you're gonna have a lawyer who's gonna look into all that, and hopefully they're gonna find that video for you.
All right, thank you.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah.
All right. Your name, sir? Oh. You must have skipped one. What about Jose Acevedo Cotto?
That was out of county.
It's an out of county. Is it out of order?
230, 14403.
You said 230, 144?
Yeah, 02. 02? 02, yeah.
All right. That answers it. No, you're Bianca, right? Bianca Delaney. All right. Here because you're arrested on a violation of probation warrant. The bond on that is $1,000, and I'll appoint a public defender to represent you on that violation of probation.
Yes.
Your name, sir?
Mr. Rusoff.
Mr. Rusoff, you're here because you're arrested on a violation of probation for your sexual battery case. There is no bond on that. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you.
No, he had a key Wave Weaver is his attorney.
Oh. Mr. Rusoff, do you already have an attorney?
Yes, sir.
All right, then we want a appoint a public defender then.
You just talk to your attorney. Is it because of the original charge? Because the charge was dropped to just battery. There was no sexual charge against.
That's how it punches out on there. But it's a violation of probation. Says looks like there was a urine sample that was positive. It just says count one and which was sexual battery, physically helpless, defendant and victim 18 or older. Amended to felony battery. Yeah, it was just a battery. But it's still a violation. The violation was a hot urine. Okay? Not at this point, no. That's Judge Harris's order. Okay? Your attorney can contact the judge. All right, your name, sir?
Leon Williams.
Mr. Williams, you're here today on a violation of probation, for a violation of probation warrant, I think. Or was that on site? Yeah, and there's no bond on that. It says 2 cases. Did he have it? Oh, I gotcha. Yeah, you're arrested for a charge of driving while suspended as an habitual traffic offender. I do find sufficient probable cause. I'm going to reduce that bond from the $2,500 to $500, but they did on-site a probation violation. There is no bond on that. I will appoint a public defender on both cases, though, for you, so they can get working on that.
Okay.
All right.
There you go, sir.
Your name, sir?
Randy Young.
All right, Mr. Young, you're here today for a violation of probation on your battery on a law enforcement resisting with violence, and there is no bond on that. I'll appoint a public defender to represent you on that violation.
Yes, sir. So what that mean?
That means that they violated your probation for doing something that you weren't supposed to do allegedly, and that there isn't a bond on that, but you do have a lawyer who's going to look into it. Your name, sir?
Keith Jones.
All right, Mr. Jones, you were here because you were arrested on a charge of open container. Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it would be credit time served.
Mr. Jones, if you wish to enter a plea, the state's offering withhold of adjudication and time served, just be court costs. Did you want to do that? And it's a city case, it would be 233, or no, 223. You want to do that? Yes? Is that yes?
Yes.
All right. Are you under the influence of any drugs? Well, first of all, raise your right hand. Solemnly swear testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
All right. Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past? Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol now?
No.
You understand that you're going to give up some rights. Those are going to be listed on that plea form, and I'm going to go over a couple of them. First of all, you understand that you're giving up the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one would be appointed. You have the right to proceed to trial. You have the right to demand the state to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt at that trial. You have the right to question or cross-examine any witnesses that the state may bring to testify against you. You have the right to present your own witnesses. And finally, you have the right to testify or refuse to testify based on the Florida and United States Constitutions. You understand you're giving up all those rights by entering this plea of no contest. Finally, you understand that this is punishable by up to 60 days in jail, up to a $500 fine, and that the entry of your plea could result in deportation if you're not a citizen. Yes? All right. I'll accept your plea. I'll withhold adjudication to be sentenced to time served. I'll impose court costs of $223. And that's it, and then and I'll give you 12 months to get that paid, and you'll be released as to this case.
Your Honor, I apologize. Can I get the case number on that
Sure.
again?
23MO780.
Thank you.
All righty. Thank you, sir. Your name?
Leroy Mack.
All right, Mr. Mack, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of open container. I've reviewed the charging affidavit. Do you find there's sufficient probable cause? Is there an offer?
Yes, Your Honor, it would be credit time served.
All right. Mr. Mack, if you wish to enter a plea of no contest, the state's offering a time served and a withhold of adjudication, and there would be court costs of total of $223. You want to do that?
Yes, sir.
So you'd like to enter a plea of no contest, is that right? Yes, raise your right hand and solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Yes? Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today? No. Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
Yes, sir.
You have?
Yes, sir.
Take any you put your hand down. Take any medication for that?
I was taking, in the military, I was taking something for anxiety and anxiety and stress.
All right, but you understand what's going on here today?
Yes, sir.
All right. And you understand that that you're going to give up some rights by entering this plea. You give up the right to go to trial, the right at that trial to have a lawyer represent you, and one would be appointed if you couldn't afford it. The right to require the state to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt. The right to question or cross-examine any witnesses that the state would bring. The right to bring your own witnesses. And finally, the right for you to testify or refuse to testify under the Florida or United States Constitution. You understand you're giving up all those rights?
Yes, sir.
Finally, you understand this is punishable by up to 60 days in jail, up to a $500 fine, and that the entry of your plea could result in deportation if you're not a citizen. Understand?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'll accept your plea. I'll withhold adjudication, impose court costs of $223, and I'll give you 12 months to get that paid. You can pay a little at a time or all at once, and I'll withhold adjudication. You'll be released as to this case.
Thank you for your service, Mr. Leroy. Stay safe, please.
Yes. All righty. Your name, sir?
Davidson.
Last name?
Garcia.
All right, sir, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of open container. I've read the charging affidavit. I do find there's sufficient probable cause. State.
It would be a credit time serve offer, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Mesher, if you wanted to resolve your case today by entering a plea of no contest, the state's going to recommend that I sentence you to the time you've served with a withhold of adjudication, and there would be court cost of $223. Is that what you want to do? You want to enter a plea of no contest to resolve it today? And you would get out. Is that what you want to do?
What do you speak? Your Honor, he speaks Creole. He doesn't speak English very well.
Okay. We'll try. All right, let's pass him for just a sec, and then we'll see. Come on up, sir.
Hello, Your Honor.
Hello. Your name?
My name is Emmanuel Bartholomew Strickland.
Mr. Strickland, you're here today because you were arrested on a charge of open container.
Yes.
I have read the charging affidavit. Do you find sufficient probable cause? Is there an offer on that one?
Yes, Your Honor. It would be credit time served, and we would just ask that you take no action on the other 2 cases that he's out on.
Okay.
I don't have access to the city attorney's cases, so I can't close the other open container.
All right, so if you would want to enter a plea of no contest, it would be time served and court costs, and you'd be released on this case.
Yes, sir.
Is that what you want to do?
Yes.
All right. Are you, raise your right hand, solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. As best as you can. You understand? You agree with all that?
I do agree with that.
All right. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today?
No, I'm not.
Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
No, sir.
All right. You understand that by entering your plea today, you're going to give up some rights. You're going to give up the right to proceed to trial. You give up the right at that trial to be represented by a lawyer. And if you cannot afford one would be appointed for you. You give up the right to require the state to prove their case beyond a reasonable doubt at your trial, the right to question any witnesses the state would bring to testify against you, the right to bring your own witnesses, and finally the right for you to testify or refuse to testify as provided by the United States and Florida constitutions. You understand that?
I copy that.
All right, and then lastly, you understand this is punishable by up to 60 days in jail, up to a $500 fine, and that the entry of your plea could result in deportation if you're not a citizen. You understand all that?
Understood that.
All right, I'll accept your plea. I'll withhold adjudication. You'll be sentenced to the time you've served. I'll impose court costs of $223, and you can pay that at any time in the next 12 months, little at a time or all at once, as long as it's paid in 12 months. Okay? You'll be released as to this case. Yeah, no action on the other 2. And the cases you're out on bond on, you still have 2 other cases pending. Make sure you keep in contact with your attorney.
Most definitely understood.
Good morning.
Good afternoon. Have you been sworn today, Madam Interpreter?
No.
All righty. You can swear the interpreter.
Right hand, do you solemnly swear to translate from Creole to English, from English to Creole, in the testimony given today?
Yes.
State your name and your ID, please.
Wolf 260778.
All righty. Okay. Mr. Marisher, you're here today because you're arrested on a charge of alcohol, open container.
Monsieur Marcher, raison que là, je dis, il était arrêté parce que des alcool qui ouvert.
Yes. Yes, Your Honor.
The state is offering, if you wish to resolve your case today, a withhold of adjudication, time served, and court costs.
L'État côtoyant, il m'a dit, est-ce que vous voulez résoudre le cas, je dis, non seulement il va pas boire avec juridiction, et puis il est fini, il va payer temps, ou être servi dans la prison, la petite ville contre même, et puis avec l'argent, il m'a dit pour payer.
Moi, pas que l'argent qu'on y a là, non? On va pas connaître, faut que moi t'aille là, car on soit capable mal travail, me t'a payé.
Okay, for the court cost, Mona, I don't have the money right now to pay. I probably have to go home to get the money, so I don't have the money right now.
That's
I have
okay.
to pay it now.
All right, that's okay. I would give you 12 months to pay it, so you just have to pay it within the next 12 months.
Pas de problème. Ma boîte 12 mois pour payer. So, we just pay it avant un an, t'as dit?
Ah, ben ok, pas de problème. Je vais pas payer depuis son mois, oui?
Yeah, I'll pay it in a month, Mona.
Okay. So you do want to enter a plea of no contest and resolve the case, is that correct?
Vous voulez entrer en plein jeudi, vous voulez choisir que ou pas choisir rien, et vous voulez résoudre le cas jeudi, là, et pas vrai?
Ah, moi, j'ai juste besoin d'aller jeudi. Si le cas relâché jeudi, il est bon pour moi. Puis, parce que demain, si je vais me faire le travail.
Yes, I want to resolve that today because, you know, if I could go home today, that would be great. Tomorrow I have to go to work.
All right. Are you under the influence of any drugs or alcohol today?
Est-ce qu'on a influence drogue avec alcool qu'on y a?
Non.
Non.
Have you suffered from or been treated for any mental illness in the past?
Est-ce que ou gen maladie mentale le passé ou bien est-ce que ou te ba ou traitement pour maladie mentale?
Non, non, non. Seulement, je souffre d'oppression.
No, I only have asthma, that's all.
Okay. Now you understand that you could go to trial and you could, if you wanted to, but by entering this plea, you're waiving that right.
Ou konen ke ou gen droit souvle pour aller dans jugement ou kal dans jugement. Mais si choisi avec play ou bon jodi an, ou relever droit ça, ça veut dire que ou pas gen droit aller dans jugement encore si choisi ça au fou jodi an.
Ah, ben ok, pas aucun problème. T'as mais aller jeudi, hein?
Okay, not a problem, owner. I really want to get released today.
Okay. And finally, you understand this is punishable by up to 60 days in jail and up to a $500 fine, and that the entry of your plea could be used against you in any deportation proceeding if you're not a citizen.
Okay, so avec play ça ou li pa di wap fè long ou ka fè 60 jours en prison si ou jwen nou coupable et puis ka faut payer jusqu'à $600. Si ou gon ka immigration, li gen même cause ou déporté. Est-ce ou au courant de ça?
Bien, moi t'as des bagages ça. Moi gen ID, moi gen social security, moi gen green card, man.
Yes, I heard about that, but I have my ID, I have my social, I have my green card. I already have those.
Okay, perfect. So I will accept your plea. I'll withhold adjudication. I'll sentence you to time served and impose court costs, and you have 12 months to pay the $223, and you'll be released today.
Okay, so na pran ple ou la, et faut connaître que ou choisi que ou coupable, et puis pourtant ou getan passé dans prison, hein, et ça fini, et puis ensuite nous pas kembe ou pour aucune juridiction, et puis les fini ou gon l'argent à payer, je dis. Mona, what is the cost again? I'm sorry.
223.
Thank you. Et ou gen pour payer $223.
Combien lié?
$223.
Oh, m'a getan paye les distance pour moi.
Okay, Mona, I'll pay that money in a month.
Okay, no problem. As long as it's paid in the next 12 months. He's all set. He'll be released today.
Pas de problème. Pas de problème. De vous payer l'argent ça dans un an, pas de problème. Et puis après l'argent aujourd'hui.
Merci un peu, merci un peu.
Thank you so much, Mona.
All righty.
So much.
Thank you, and thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your service. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Mm-hmm.
Spanish guy? Yeah. No, he said everything stayed. He just signed the warrant. He said that both cases stayed.
Yeah, I just stayed on both, because those were my warrants.
I'm sorry, sir, I forgot to tell you.
Well, I was steamrolling along, too.
know.
I know, you're right. I know I did.
That one, and there's all
I
this.
saw her with the, I was like, shit.
How many was that? You know what the number was today?
Oh, sweet. You're fine.
Seemed
Thank
like
you
a
for your
lot.
advice, too. They probably deserve that. I'll see you tomorrow? Okay, awesome. Thank you.
See you at Juvie tomorrow. Or no?
Yeah, I'll see you.
Okay.
Are we off
Good. Glad you reminded me.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. This is Laura Bretaña, certified Spanish interpreter, previously sworn.
Great, thank you. And this is Judge Carter. I'm at the BRC. I'm just waiting for the defendant to come up to the podium, put the headset on. All right, he is present at the podium and has the headset on.
There is contact, Your Honor.
Okay. Sir, good afternoon. Please tell me your name.
Agapito Flores.
Agapito Flores.
Sir, this is 23MO778. You were arrested for camping.
Okay.
Ms. George, did you want to say something?
There was Your Honor, of a withhold of adjudication and
All right, Mr. Flores, excuse me, I do find probable cause. Did you want to enter a plea to this offense today?
Yeah. Hey.
Yes.
All right, sir. The offer from the state is a withhold of adjudication and court costs. Did you want to accept that offer?
Yeah.
I apologize, Your Honor, but I don't understand what he's saying.
Your Honor, may we approach for a moment, please?
Mr. Stokes, it's Mr. Stokes' case. Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't know if there's someone here at the jail who can help him. There's got to be services for him. Okay, then let's RO because they've got to have a spot for him somewhere. Okay,
Mr. Flores? Sir, I'm going to release you this afternoon on your own recognizance, which means you're not going to have to post a bond to get out of the jail, but you will be given a court date to return. All right. Then Miss George just gave you a form that has her office's contact information on it. And then she's got some folks at her office who are going to want to probably meet with you and see if there's some assistance or some services that they might be able to help you out with. Do you have any questions for me, Mr. Flores?
What did you say?
I asked if you had any questions.
No.
All right, sir. Thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Tell me your name, please.
Antonio Hernandez Perez.
This is 23 CT 3754. You are arrested for driving while license suspended. There is a probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. We don't. Okay. All right, so sir, your bond on this matter is going to be $500. You do have an out-of-county warrant out of Lee County, Florida for a DUI. The bond is set at none. Once you post your bond here or resolve your Orange County case, Lee County will come and pick you up and you'll see a judge when you go. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Blander Saúl Orozco López. Blander Saúl Orozco López.
Blander Saúl Orozco López.
This is 23 CF 7307. You were arrested for lewd or lascivious behavior. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. So you are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. You are not to have any contact with any children under the age of 18, and you are not to return to the scene. Your bond is $20,000. Sir.
Your Honor, I do apologize. Was one of the conditions that you have no contact with minors?
Correct. Madam Interpreter, that's all the Spanish cases that we have.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Fuller? Good afternoon, sir.
Hi.
You are here in 23 MM 136. You were arrested for trespassing. There is probable cause. Was there an offer for Mr. Fuller?
Yeah. Your Honor, the offer from the state was an adjudication of guilt, 5 days in the Orange County Jail and no return to the Wawa located at 901 North Orlando Avenue. We would ask for a bench offer in this case where we would like credit time served, Your Honor, given that if you look at the affidavit, it was a trespass from October of last year, and my client didn't even remember that he could not go back there since it was from last year. So we're just asking for a bench plea.
Okay. And Your Honor, if you will look at the face sheet, Mr. Fuller was convicted of petty theft May 31st.
I thought that he looked familiar to me.
Yes, but it wasn't at the same location, no?
I understand.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I understand.
Okay. Well, at this time, I'm going to decline to make an offer from the bench.
Okay.
The fact that I saw Mr. Fuller yesterday. Did he want to accept the offer, or did he want to do something else?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Can I don't know why I don't have, can I have the case number? I don't have it.
23 MM 136.
Thank you. So, Mr. Fuller, your sign here. It's the same thing that we talked about. You'll do 3 more days. Thank you.
Mr. Fuller, I'm looking at your face sheet here, and it says that you're a veteran, but then it says you do not want programs. So you're not interested in getting any services with the Veterans Association in any way?
While I'm serving here, you know.
Well, no, not while you're serving here, but when you get out.
Oh, like the VA?
Yeah.
I was with Lakeside for 25 years. Lakeside and Aspire and all that.
Oh, okay.
Lakeside Behavioral.
Yeah.
It all started with an NGI from 1987 or something like that.
All right.
Been an outpatient ever since, you know. They gave me SSI, and then when I did enough work to get credits, they gave me disability because of, you know, slight brain damage from an injury and drugs. And it was 87, I think, NGI on a brush fire. NGI.
Okay.
Schizophrenia. I went to Chattahoochee for a while.
Yeah. But have you talked to anyone at the VA about?
They asked me to stay away from them. They're recommending that I go to a different area like Clearwater or Daytona or something.
All right.
Because Orange County is starting to build up.
Well, maybe that's not a bad idea. Get a fresh start, maybe. I said maybe that's not a bad idea to get a fresh start somewhere new.
Another district, anyway.
Yeah. Well, today, Mr. Fuller, did you read the plea form?
I tried to.
All right, so you understand that by entering into this plea today, we're not gonna have a trial on your case, right?
Yeah,
And you're not on probation, correct?
no.
And you understand if you're not a US citizen, this plea will result in your deportation.
Right.
All right, Mr. Fuller, I'm going to accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 5 days in jail with credit for 1 day time served. You will have to pay court costs due 1 year from today, or see the clerk for a payment plan, and you cannot return to the Wawa. Thank you, Mr. Fuller.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Afternoon.
Tell me your name.
Irvin?
Augusti?
Yes.
Sir, this is 23 CF 7320. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000, sir.
$20,000.
Thank you. Good afternoon, sir. Your name?
Jeremy Hicks.
Mr. Hicks, this is 23 CF 4575. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for sexual battery. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the alleged victim, and you are not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Your bond is $20,000. Thank you. Mr. Jackson?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir. You are here in 23 CF 7287. You were arrested for grand theft of a motor vehicle. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is going to be set at $1,000. I am revoking the bond in the out on bond cases. All of those will be set at none. Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Yeah.
Set a bond for you.
Mr. Ramos?
Yes.
This is 23 CF 7275. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for trafficking, for dealing in stolen property. I will appoint the public defender to represent you, sir. And your bond is $1,000. You're not to have any contact with the victim. Anel.
She bonded, Your Honor.
Okay. And then Ricardo Chavez. Is that you, sir?
Ma'am.
All right, Mr. Chavez. You were here in 23 MM 3825 for trespassing. There is probable cause. Is there an offer for Mr. Chavez?
Yes, Your Honor. The offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, no return to 4138 West Oak Ridge Road. And sorry, Mr. Chavez would like to accept and enter plea of no contest.
All right. Mr. Chavez, did you read the plea form, sir?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Okay.
At this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days time served. You will have to pay court costs due 1 year from today or see the clerk for a payment plan. I'm not going to take any action on the out on bond cases at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you. This Miss Cooper? Cooper?
Cooper is currently on mental health status, Your Honor.
And defense will waive, Your Honor. He has competency issues, so I'd ask that you take no action on the out on bond.
Okay.
This is 23 MM 3824. I'll appoint the public defender to represent Mr. Cooper. He was arrested for trespass on property after warning. There's probable cause. His bond is $500. He's not to return to the scene, and I'll take no action on his out on bond case. Ms. Ganton Flores? What about John Doe? All right.
In defense away, away.
Okay. I will appoint the public defender to represent him in 23 MM 3822. He was arrested for trespass on property after warning. There is probable cause. He's not to return to the scene. His bond will be stayed at $500. Nazaya Gonzalez. Maybe they bonded 230-14308. 2301-4308. Donahue Hamulak. All right, I'll find a waiver based upon the refusal to come to court in 23 MM 3823. He was arrested for petty theft. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him. It's not to return to the scene. Bond is $250. He also has 23 MO 775. He was arrested for open container. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him in that case as well, and I'll ROR him as to that count, or that case. 23 MM 3828, Kayla Hansen. Is that you, ma'am?
Kayla Hansen.
All right. You were arrested for possession of drug paraphernalia.
Your Honor, I would ask for an ROR in this case.
No objection from the state.
All right, ma'am. Are you staying here in Orlando?
Yes.
All right. And do you know where the Orange County Courthouse is?
Yes.
All right. So I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. When you are released, they're going to give you a court date. You need to make sure that you appear at the court date. It'll be downtown. Otherwise, there'll be a warrant issued for your arrest.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just to confirm, Your Honor, you did find PC?
Yes. Thank you. 23 MM 3827, Carol Rosenblum. All right, 230-14285. Thank you. Elena Stelica? All right, 230-14291. Tanya Worster? Okay. Elijah Young? Okay. Mr. Young, good afternoon. Sir, this is 23 MM 3829. You were arrested for resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. How would Mr. Young like to proceed?
I don't know why I had it mixed up with Vincent. Can I have a moment, Your Honor?
Sure.
Oh, he just came up. Can I?
The offer from the state was an adjudication of guilt and credit time served, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we would ask that you just stay the bond.
Okay, at this time, the court does find probable cause and the bond will be stayed at $500. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Mr. Vinson? Good afternoon, sir. This is 21 MM 8095. You failed to appear for your VOP hearing on May 15th. At this time, your bond is set at none, and we're going to give you a court date in front of Judge McGinnis.
It's going to be July 17th at 9 o'clock in courtroom 4E.
Thank you.
Down, right?
Yes, sir.
That's it. Here you go. Oh, that smells amazing. Thank God. Whew. So much better. And Your Honor, I will waive the appearance. I would argue no PC, as based on the affidavit, it does not state that the vehicle that exchanged something with my client was stopped at a traffic light, traffic control device, or signal. So I would ask for an ROR.
No objection.
All right, at this time in 23MO776, the court does not find probable cause. Mr. Dennis will be released ROR, and I'll take no action on the out on bond case. Mr. Diaz?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I think he needs the hearing device.
Maybe.
While they're putting the hearing device on, Your Honor, do you have the case number?
I do, 23MO777.
Spoke to you, right?
Hmm.
It was brought up. Did I speak to you?
He was in there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were in there. Just want to make sure.
Mr. Diaz, good morning, or good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sir, you were arrested for camping. There is probable cause. It looks like you're signing the plea form there.
And the offer from the state is an adjudication of guilt, credit time served, and he would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest, Your Honor.
All right, sir. Did you have a chance to read the plea form?
Yes.
Do you have any questions about any of the rights on the form?
No.
Are you on probation?
No.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Understand.
Sir, at this time, I will accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty, sentence you to 2 days in jail. You've got credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs. Those will be due 1 year from today, or you'll need to see the clerk for a payment plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Ms. All right, this is 23MO779. Ms. Tabor, I'll waive her appearance based upon her refusal to come to court. She was arrested for camping. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent her. I'm gonna release her ROR.
Thank you.
Precious Clayton. Ms. Clayton, you are here. Oh, thank you. You are here in 23CT684 and 23CT685 for driving without a valid driver's license and driving with a suspended driver's license.
And there was an offer to resolve the driving while license suspended with an adjudication of guilt, credit, time served, and in exchange, the state agreed to drop the no valid, Your Honor.
Okay.
All I saw was no valids that she had open. I didn't see any driving while license suspended that she's been convicted of.
She didn't, but she, you only have 2 things that are suspending your driver's license. You failed to appear on 2 criminal citations, and then you've got an insurance suspension. Did you want to try to clean your driver's license up?
Your Honor, so she would, because we have a driving program, and we could try to help her get her license.
Because I'll release her ROR if she wants to.
She does, Your Honor.
Okay. So, Ms. Clayton, I am going to write in the order that the clerk is to clear the D6 and waive any late fees, and you're to report to the clerk's office. It's going to be in room 410 at the main courthouse to be put on a payment plan to get those tickets paid. Are you following what I'm saying? Yes? Okay. And then you're going to have to follow up with the DMV about the insurance suspension, okay? And then work on that as quickly as possible. You're gonna get an arraignment date when you leave here, And hopefully, by the time you get to your arraignment date, you can come with a valid driver's license. Okay? You do that, then the cases will get dismissed. All right?
So it's here too. You can call the attorney with any questions.
But don't drive, ma'am. Marco Galvez? Must have bonded. 20, let's see. Where's that number? Oh, 230-14283. Yep. Yeah. Excuse me? All right, I'm gonna set him up here to the side and then we'll revisit that. Jonathan Lavoille. Okay. Whitney Turner.
I don't have a driving record.
There's no driving record?
I know, I didn't.
Okay. Ms. Turner, you're here in 22 CT 6135. You failed to appear for a status hearing on your driving while license suspended case. Ms. Turner, were you attempting to get a driver's license?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, what have you done or what do you still need to do?
I still have to pay off the rest of my fine up in Kansas.
Okay, how much more do you need to pay?
I just need to pay like $200 more, my mom had said.
Okay, all right. Well then, your bond is $500, ma'am, and do we need to give her, we need to give her a report date in Division 62.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
There was an offer from the state. Ms.
Okay.
Turner can't afford to pay the bond. She has
Okay.
nobody here. If I could just have a moment, because she was just brought up.
Okay. Are you gonna explain the, okay, perfect.
And she would like to accept the state's offer of an adjudication of guilt credit time served.
Okay. Ms. Turner, did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any questions about any of the constitutional rights on the form? Are you currently on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea, adjudicate you guilty. 2 days? I'll sentence you to 2 days in the county jail with credit for 2 days time served. You will have to pay court costs. Those are due 1 year from today, or you need to see the clerk for a payment plan. Ms. Turner, if you don't pay those court costs, you'll have a suspension on your license in Florida. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Rebecca Utria? Terrence White?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. White, you are here, sir, in 22 CT 1385. You failed to appear for your hearing for arraignment for driving without a valid driver's license.
And the offer from the state was a withhold of adjudication, credit time served. And Mr. White would like to accept the state's offer and enter a plea of no contest, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. White, did you read the plea form?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have Any questions about the constitutional rights on the form?
No, ma'am.
Are you on probation?
No, ma'am.
Do you understand if you're not a U.S. citizen that this plea will result in your deportation?
Yes, ma'am.
I'll accept your plea, withhold adjudication, sentence you to 2 days in jail with credit for 2 days' time served. You'll have to pay court costs due 1 year from today or see the clerk for a payment plan.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Alexander? Yes. No. Oh.
It's Alexander is his last name.
You don't have to do them on the phone. You don't have to give me any more. Okay. Marco Galvez. All right, so 23 CT 3753, he did bond. Okay. Mr. Alexander?
Ma'am.
All right, sir, you have 3 cases this afternoon. I will appoint the public defender to represent you on all of them. You have 22 CF 7095. You failed to appear in that case for a case management conference on January 18th of this year. Your bond is set at none. You failed to appear in 22 CF 10718 for a case management conference on May 3rd of this year. Your bond is set at none. And you also have 22 CF 14546. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for sale and delivery of cocaine and possession of cocaine. Your bond on count 1 is $750. Your bond on count 2 is $250. Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Hey, Mr. Brown?
How you doing?
Mr. Brown, this is 23 CF 7309. You were arrested for possession of cocaine. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Good afternoon, your name? Sir, this is 23 CF 7270. You were arrested for possession of methamphetamine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and being in the park after hours. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the park or possess any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Your bond on count 1 is $1,000. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Your bond on count 3 is $100.
And, Your Honor, I'd ask that you take no action on the out on bond. He was arrested January 31st of this year, and to date, no information has been filed.
All right, I'll take no action on that case, but I'm also going to add random urinalysis testing to your conditions of release, sir. Thank you. Sir, good afternoon. Tell me your name.
Luis Cisneros.
Mr. Cisneros. This is 23 CF 7317. You were arrested for trafficking in fentanyl and resisting officer without violence. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
I'm gonna set bond at $100,000 on count 1 and $100 on count 2. You are not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription. Thank you, sir. Yes. Mr. Cologne?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is 23 CF 7338. You were arrested for trafficking in methamphetamine, attempted sale and delivery, and possession of cannabis.
Your Honor, I would argue no PC as to the attempted sale and delivery. Based on the affidavit, there's no indication that a sale or delivery had occurred. Based on the affidavit.
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. So the court finds probable cause as to count 1. Bond will remain at $50,000. Bond, he'll be ROR'd as to count 2, and he'll be ROR'd as to count 3. You're not to possess or consume any controlled substances, sir, without a valid prescription.
And Your Honor, Mr. Cologne can't afford the $50,000 bond. I was gonna ask if you would consider reducing the $50,000 bond in this case. How much can you afford? He can afford $10,000 to post. He can pay $10,000 to get out. Oh, he said if you could set it at $10,000, he can get his parents to help him pay. Because he said his parents just had to pay rent, so they're posting the bond and they can't afford the $50,000.
I think at this time, I'm gonna leave it at the $50,000, and he can file a bond motion in Division 10, sir, and that way your parents can come to court, your lawyer can file a motion, and you can have an actual hearing to determine the amount, because you get one bond hearing for that, and if your parents, I think you're gonna wanna know exactly what your parents can help you with so you can get the right bond amount. Okay? Thank you, sir. Good afternoon. Your name, please.
She loved the lens.
Sir, this is 23 CF 7321. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for lewd or lascivious battery.
Your Honor, defense will waive the reading.
Okay.
And I would, based on my reading, Your Honor, I would ask that you not revoke the out on bond. It appears it occurred on the exact same date. Did you look? Oh, then I messed the year up. Okay. I just looked at the 20, the date. I didn't look at the year.
Ms. George, I did the exact.
Okay.
But it's a year difference.
Oh, okay, I see.
Ms. Eugene, is he entitled to bond?
Yes, Your Honor, he is entitled to a bond for the new law offense. With regard to the out on bond, formal charges have been filed. He was out on bond when this new law offense occurred, so I would ask that you revoke his out on bond and hold him at no bond. Just as an added, a motion has been filed to revoke his bond in that out on bond as well, Your Honor.
I did see that. Okay. So I am going to revoke the bond in 22 CF 6030, and it looked like that case was actually set for trial soon. And bond will be set at none. Bond on count 1. Was an information filed in the new case yet?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So bond on count 1 is $20,000. Bond on count 2 is going to be $5,000. Bond on count 3 will be $1,000. Sir, you are not to have any contact with the alleged victim. And you are not to possess any weapons or firearms.
Your Honor, if he could have no contact with any minors.
Sir, you're also not to have any contact with any children under the age of 18. Thank you. Mr. Johnston, is that right? Sir, this is 23 CF 7305. You were arrested for grand theft
Third degree, there is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. You are not to return to the scene. And, sir, I'm revoking your bonds. It's Division 11 and Division 20. 23 CF 2438 and 23 CF 4316, those will be set at none.
Your Honor, what was the bond account on the new law?
$1,000.
I'll let the attorney know. You picked up a yeah, we'll follow motion.
Mr. Ellis? Good afternoon, sir. This is 22 CF 10685. You failed to appear for pretrial on May 3rd. At this time, your bond is $500, sir.
Okay, can I explain this?
You can definitely,
Went to, run the judge.
hold on.
Okay, I did 37 days. They didn't pick up the charge, so they let me go.
Okay. But you had court, you had to come, right. But that doesn't mean the case is dismissed. It just means the state attorney hadn't filed on it yet.
Yeah.
So they let you, they can't hold you in the jail anymore. But then they must have filed charges, and then you were supposed to be in court on May
Well, I
3rd.
got failure to appear.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, your lawyer will file a motion and get you brought over in front of the judge in Division 20 as soon as possible.
How much is my bond?
You're at 500.
I can get out $500 bond?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, sir, thank you. Mr. Gerald? Hello, sir. You were here in 23 CF 7300. You were arrested for burglary of an unoccupied dwelling, criminal mischief less than $200, and petty theft of $100 or more. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond on count 1 is $3,500. Your bond on count 2 is $100. Your bond on count 3 is $100, and you are not to return to the scene. Thank you, sir. Mr. Hall?
Hall refused his appearance, Your Honor.
I'll find a waiver of his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court in 23 CF 6817. I'll appoint the public defender to represent him in all of his cases. He was arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for a delivery of a controlled substance within 1,000 feet of a convenience store, sale or delivery of fentanyl, delivery of cocaine within 1,000 feet of a convenience store, and sale and delivery of cocaine. Bond on count 1 is $15,000. Bond on count 2 is $150. Bond on count 3 is $150. Bond on count 4 is $150. He's not to return to the scene. And in 23 CF 7296, he was arrested for possession of cocaine. There's probable cause, and bond is $1,000. Mr. Jean?
So, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. This is 23 CF 7312. You were arrested for fleeing and eluding.
Yes, ma'am.
There's probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. Just give me a second, Mr. Jean. All right, so your bond is $4,000. Thank you. Selvin Lara?
Bonded.
Leo Lejeune? Are you Mr. Lejeune?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir. Excuse me. Mr. Lejeune, this is 23 CF 7292. You were arrested for possession of MDMA. There's probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. Your bond is $1,000. Mr. Lejeune, I'm revoking all of your out on bond cases. 23 CF 4914, that'll be set at none. That's Division 14. 22 CF 13954, that's Division 20. That'll be set at none. 23 CF 1839, that's Division 14, that will be set at none. 23 CF 2446, that's Division 12, that'll be set at none. And 23 CF 4942, excuse me, that's Division 10, that'll be set at none.
Nope.
Ms. Lowe? Hello, how are you today? Hi, Ms. Lowe, thank you, I'm well. You are here in 23 CF 6770. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause habeas for burglary of a dwelling and grand theft third degree. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you in both of your cases. Your bond on count 1 is $2,000. Your bond on count 2 is $150. You're not to return to the scene or have any contact with the victims. In 23 CF 7288, you were arrested for driving while license revoked as a habitual offender. There is probable cause. Your bond is going to be $500.
The crime.
Ma'am, good afternoon. Your name?
Kristen Ann Mascarelli.
This is 23 CF 4768. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for burglary of a conveyance, fraudulent use of credit cards over $100, and petty theft. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. You're not to have any contact with the victim. Your bond on count 1 is $2,500. Your bond on count 2 is $150. Your bond on count 3 is $100. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, can I ask you the thing? I don't even know idea what this even is.
You don't qualify for it.
What this is, I have no idea.
Your Honor, do you have the victim's name?
I don't even know what this is about.
I didn't print it. But there's no contact. You have it, Brenda?
Haley Palumbo?
So you can't.
What did you say, Ms. Eugene?
Just in case management, we have it listed as Haley Palumbo. I haven't looked at the actual paperwork to confirm that.
You do not qualify, I can tell you. You have, it's the, you don't qualify, the crime doesn't qualify.
So, it's alleged that you're not to have any contact with. Are you Miss Melvin?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Melvin, this is 22 CF 3702. You failed to appear for case management on January 24th of this year. At this time, ma'am, your bond is set at none, and you will see a judge in Division 14. Thank you. Mr. Michael? Yes. Sir, you have 2 cases. I will appoint the public defender to represent you in both. You have 23 CF 7159. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for written threats to kill. Your bond, sir, is $2,500. You're not to have any contact with the victim, possess any weapons or firearms. You were also arrested in 23 CF 7284 for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. There's probable cause. Your bond on count 1 is 1,000. Your bond on count 2 is 100. Thank you, sir.
So can I get out mine?
Yeah.
I can?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can.
Mr. Perry? Sir, this is 21 CF 16242. You were arrested pursuant to a warrant for failing to appear at pretrial conference on March 29th of this year. Your bond is $2,500, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Phillips?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is 23 CF 7321. You were arrested for aggravated battery on a pregnant person. There is probable cause. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you. I couldn't tell if this was a domestic violence case actually or not.
I don't believe so, Your Honor. I think they happen to be neighbors. She went to his house and then she went back to her own home.
Okay, just said Mr. Phillips advised that he was having a small argument with her in regard to her being jealous because he didn't want to be with her. I don't, okay. Mr. Phillips, you can't have any contact with Miss Morris, you understand? Okay. So I understand that you might be neighbors, but if she's outside, because you can't be within 500 feet of her, so if she's outside, you can't go outside.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. You're not to possess any weapons or firearms, sir. Your bond's $2,500. Thank you. Hey, Mr. Rahim?
Judge.
This is 23 CF 7319. Sir, you were arrested for fleeing and eluding. There is probable cause. I'll appoint the public defender to represent you. And at this time, sir, your bond is $4,000. Thank you. Good afternoon. Your name?
Ruben Roland.
Mr. Rowland, this is 22 CF 7065. You were arrested for failing to appear for court on February 21st of this year. Your bond is $1,500. You also failed to appear in 22 CF 11480 for a case management conference on May 11th. Your bond in that case is set at none. You'll have to see a judge or see the judge in Division 22. Thank you. Yes.
Defense will waive, Your Honor.
I will appoint the public defender to represent him in 23 CF 7310. He was arrested for possession of cocaine and possession of drug paraphernalia. There is probable cause. Bond on count 1 is 1,000. Bond on count 2 is 100. Skylar Trudell. All right, I will waive his appearance based upon his refusal to come to court. In 23 CF 7295, excuse me, he was arrested for trafficking in a controlled substance, possession of a weapon, and commission of a felony, and carrying a concealed weapon.
And Your Honor, defense would argue no PC to the trafficking in a controlled substance over 4 grams. The substance that was found was Suboxone. Yeah, Suboxone, and based on the statute, Suboxone is not one of the substances that it falls under that statute C1, subsection C1. It's actually a Schedule 3 substance, so defense would argue no PC.
Okay.
For the trafficking over 4 grams.
Technically, Your Honor, it is not specifically listed. A Schedule 3 drug is listed under C1, I believe it is, but it's supposed to be over 28 grams, so there is no PC.
Okay. So I'll find PC for possession of a controlled substance. possession of a weapon in the commission of a felony, and carrying a concealed firearm. Bond on count 1 is $15,000. Bond on count 2 is $2,500. Bond on count 3 is $500. He's not to possess or consume any controlled substances without a valid prescription or possess any weapons or firearms. Robert Tyson. All right, Mr. Tyson, this is 22 CF 5296. You were arrested pursuant to a probable cause warrant for carjacking. I will appoint the public defender to represent you. Ms. George, were you asking to have his bond hearing at a later date?
Yes, Your Honor.
And wait, no, he's entitled to a bond. This is just an
Oh.
F1. There was no weapon
There was
involved.
a weapon attached.
Okay.
That's what I was looking for. He, yes. Trying to find his history. Okay. Mr. Tyson, are you currently working?
Wait, hold on. Mr. Tyson, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you are about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Tyson, are you currently employed?
No, ma'am.
You gotta say it loud.
No, ma'am.
How long have you not been employed?
Since like, it's been since like 97, but I've been in and out of jail and prison.
And were you currently incarcerated recently?
Yes, like 13 months in Lake County.
So you've been incarcerated for 13 months, correct?
Yes.
And at this time, how much can you afford in a monetary bond?
I'm guessing, I think that my family maybe come up with probably $1,000.
Okay, and how long have you resided in the Orlando area?
All my life.
Okay, and you have family here in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am.
You have kids here in Orlando?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How many?
Oh, I have no questions, Your Honor. I apologize. I have no questions for the defendant. I would just ask the court to make note of his criminal history, including a resisting without that he was convicted of May 25th of this year.
Okay. Anything else, Ms. George?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Well, at this time, the court is going to set bond. And I reviewed the probable cause affidavit as well. I'm going to set bond at $50,000, no contact with the victims, and possess no weapons or firearms. Thank you. All right, the court will be adjourned.